Hi, this is Chris Legaspi, and in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make mouths and lips feel more 3D when drawing realistic portraits. And in this video, I'm going to draw over one of my students' works. So I'm going to show you some very simple tips and techniques to help give the mouth and lips more structure and make them feel more 3D and more natural and more real. So if your faces feel a little flat and you're struggling to draw mouths, you'll definitely want to check this video out till the end. And if you're new to me, my name is Chris Legaspi. I'm a professional artist, author, and anime instructor. Thank you for joining me today.
It's an anatomy thing too, because I recently went through an anatomy journey myself. For like a month, I studied mouths, face fat, and so now when I look at a portrait, I go, "Oh, okay, they know what that subtle." If I look at here, go, I know what's going on there. That's muscle and skin. She's very has a very lean face, so I know how to suggest to get the effect I want. So number one,
And before we begin, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my free Studio Insider. And there you can get first access to available art and originals. You get first access to live classes and workshops, and you can access my free members area where you can download some of my best teaching resources absolutely free. So all you have to do is go to www.drawwithchris.com, and there you can enter your email and you'll be good to go.
is her nose is too low by a millimeter, and this is something I constantly have to watch in myself. Before you see that little space in the line, and then so we got to widen the mouth a little bit. I love how you wrap it, but it's a little too narrow. Yes, right there. That almost fixes it. Before, after, because the way you did that little tail, that little hook is perfect. That's exactly what I would do. So before, after, now let's get some form modeling action, which is the subtle muzzle. I'll show you the ball of the mouth. So there is a bit of anatomy that's in her. There's a little hint of anatomy right there. So that's a combination of muscle and skin fold. It's mostly skin fold. There is a muscle that goes down like just a little bit of fat pocket there, not much. Goes down like this and then wraps around. So that's the form language based on some anatomy. And then this thing does this. And then there's the orbicularis oris kind of thing. And there's so much overlap. That's the thing. That's why really it's the skin. There's a there's a thing that goes like this. A thing that goes like this called triangularis. So this junction kind of looks like this. We got to emphasize this. So where I'm that's what I'm about to do. And then what happens is there's this orbicularis oris, and then this stuff overlaps, which creates a crease. So obviously, in a flawless, beautiful woman, we don't want to literally draw a crease, but we have to suggest it in tone. That's the magic, is suggesting detail. And when you draw a flawless, beautiful woman like this, or a young baby, or something like that, someone with flawless, hardly any plain visible planes. That's where it takes a lot of skill, or well, it takes tonal rendering skill. So that's a clear corner you have there. So here's a bunch of muscles here. The zygomaticus really is what I'm after. Zygomaticus, boom, which you kind of have here, but we need to also emphasize it here at this junction. And I'll show you. This is a corner. So this in green is the corner that I want. Is the corner I want. This is a crease that I want. Want to see. Let's do that now. Oh, and the eye. There's this is all skin. There's a little fat pocket here. So this is bone, and then thick bone, and then lots of skin and a little fat pocket. So we got to get it to turn underneath. You kind of have it here, but the tone is not quite correct. So that's what I'm after. That's what I'm after. Let's do that now in your drawing. Let's see. I don't know if you heard this artist named Dorian Etienne. Dorian Etienne. He's a French or Swiss guy. He's a realist guy trained classically in Florence, I believe. And he also teaches form rendering. He's a fantastic teacher. And I got to meet him in LA. We were drawing at a life drawing together in LA. And he said in tonal range, the lights and life halftones, so this zone and kind of where you have at the eyebrow, you make one mistake and it kills the plane because the margin for error is so small. The margin for error is greater after you get to halftone and darker. So that's why it's both it's simple but not easy to render a flawless, beautiful face because then the values are so close, especially if you draw a light skin or white object, light colored object. It's the value difference are so close. So you see, because I know what this thing should look like, and I know that there's a turning under right here. So I know I desperately need to communicate that turning under this fat, this basically fat. It's called supraorbital fat pocket. Supraorbital fat pocket. That's what it's called. And so that's too aggressive. That's too boxy. I just aged her. So then we have to tone it back. Or, ideally, if you're like master like Bugro or you can do it in one or two passes. In the computer, it's easy. You just here, we got to refine that little nugget. It's a bone. So this is bone and some tendon and nerve tissue. So what I'm saying is this stuff is hard. It's harder than fat. So we got to communicate that. Got to give it a little bit of rigidity, but also give it enough softness to make it feel like a young, beautiful, flawless woman, which is, it's a game. It's a game. It's the balance, form, and controlling our edges. Over here, I'm going to show you a little trick. This is a trick Sergio Sanchez taught me. He's an absolute savage. Who didn't Mark Westermo, a guy. We got to hit a little divot. It's called I just learned this thing. Something like 9 muscles converge right here. The corner of your mouth. I forgot. Oh my goodness, I just learned it. You got to get a little bit of tone to taper it in. So already we got the down plane. You see, just carry it over. Carry it over. So I'm going to exaggerate it. It obviously needs to be more subtle because this photo might be touched and she's wearing makeup, she's being lit by professional. The photo might have been retouched to make her even more flawless. I'm just going to exaggerate it so you can see the form language that we need, which is what I showed you earlier. So that's the game. The game is fine. So there it is. We got it. Your crease is missing. Once you get that crease to read properly, the crease, which is the turning in of those forms, and then the popping out of the cheek form, which you did well. And computer with airbrush a lot. Ben Oliver's one artist I like. Maybe this is kind of easy. In real life, this is this mofo hard to do on paper. You have to be careful with the paper, going back and forth like this on paper. Computer, we can just keep going back and forth, airbrush, 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 model, model, and then chisel out when we need to. So there. So that's roughly, it's exaggerated, right? I aged her a bit. It's too dark, it's too aggressive, but it's there. And then we chisel out. So one way to make all this tone look even softer is we have to subtly exaggerate the sharpness of our cast shadow. So The cast shadow and contour and occlusion shadows, these are opportunities to add chiselly harder marks, which makes our soft marks look soft. So that's part of the optical illusion of realism, is the contrast of edges to create the effect, the illusion of realism, right? This is optical illusion trying to create. So we need to combine as many tips and techniques as we can, because the illusion is so difficult to do on a flat piece of paper. So you see, it's way too exaggerated, and then the mouth, lips aren't quite turning. So there's a side plane of this lip as it turns back towards her cheek, back in the space. So we got to get that to read. Then the underplane's not reading, so there's a little bit of bounce light, so that I would not have done that. So you see, it kind of pops more before before everything just kind of rolls. It feels like a Dean Cornwell. To me, it looks like a Dean Cornwell face now, because that's one of my. When I was, I met Steve Houston, and he said, "Hey, look at Dean Cornwell. Do a bunch of Dean Cornwells." And I said, "Okay." So I went through a process of studying Dean Cornwell, and I was like, "Oh, no wonder he likes Dean Cornwell, because Dean Cornwell draws box. He calls it box logic. This boxiness. Dean Cornwell's a master of making things look 3D, and one of the ways he does it is he exaggerates the box effect."
Okay, that's the end of this video. I want to thank you for watching. If you like this video and you want to support my work, head on over to my website at www.drawwithchris.com, and there you can access my free Studio Insiders email list, so you can get first access to available art and originals. You can read some of my best articles to improve your sense of beauty, taste, and aesthetics. Or you can download some of my best figure drawing, portrait drawing, and painting resources absolutely free. So all you have to do is go to www.drawwithchris.com. And until next time, keep drawing, keep painting, build up that mileage, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.